And I want you to come look at this. We have brand new video tonight of the moments an EF-3 tornado moved through Mineral Wells yesterday. This was off of Highway 180 near the town of Cool. You can see those tree branches flung around in this neighborhood as powerful winds just whipped around. 24 hours later, we're seeing the destruction the severe weather left behind in North Texas. The video of people's homes and businesses hard to see, knowing it will be months, possibly years of recovery ahead. We have live team coverage in Mineral Wells, the hardest hit area. Richard Solomon spoke to businesses reeling from the damage. But first, Chris Lawrence leads our coverage with the latest tonight. Chris?
Well, Izzy, we're less than a mile north of Highway 180 off Van Story Road, and this is really gives you an idea of what winds of up to 145 miles an hour can do. Mostly all the homes in this area were 2 stories, but you could see the tornado just completely sheared off that second floor. And given the extent of all this damage, you can understand why Mayor Reagan Johnson says she's actually grateful that no one lost their life last night. In fact, take a look. I want to bring you up to speed on what we've been able to confirm so far. We now know tonight that 5 people were injured by this EF-3, and paramedics took several of them to a hospital nearby. All of them are expected to be okay, something that didn't seem possible in the moments after the storm. In fact, Police Chief Tim Dennison says when he arrived on scene for the first time, he felt this incredible sense of dread.
It was devastating to pull up and see that and not know, if people were inside those buildings that were collapsed. And, to find out that there was not and that there was no injuries to that, I mean, how amazing is that? And
yeah, it's one word for it. In fact, especially so when you consider that EF2s and EF3s account for about 1/4 of all tornado-related deaths. That's why one of the residents I spoke with just a few hours ago, she called it an actual blessing. Now, last night, during last night's breaking news coverage, Richard Solomon gave us our first live images of what happened after it touched down. He's back here now live in Mineral Wells to show us what it looks like now. Richard, what are you seeing where you are?
Well, Chris, we've been here all day as crews have spent the day navigating so much here in multiple neighborhoods in Mineral Wells. You can see kind of this open field behind me. There are uprooted trees, down power lines, and debris just spread across everywhere that you can see. But tonight, people are choosing to hold on to what matters the most, and they are simply grateful that they can even worry about what comes next.
I was terrified.
It only took a matter of seconds.
We all started hearing kind of glass shattering in the distance. We felt the pressure drop.
To leave behind so much destruction, so much damage.
I was just hoping and praying that my family and my pets were going to make it through this.
Now, Allison Davis stands outside of what used to be her construction and roofing building, grappling with the reality of what's been lost.
Who does a roofing company call when they get a tornado on top of their roof?
The building torn apart by what officials say was an EF-3 tornado that ripped through the area known as Fort Walters in Mineral Wells. Davis and her coworkers were inside when the storm hit. You guys just rushed in here.
Yeah, we all just piled, 4 of us piled in here, the 4 of us that were here, and we held the door until we could tell that at least the winds that had passed.
And now, city leaders say this is the start to a long recovery process.
We need people to remember this area. A lot of this area is still not safe.
Officials say 5 people were injured and taken to the hospital, 2 by ambulance and 3 others in private vehicles. In the hours, days even ahead, crews will be working to clear dangerous areas while also setting up resources to help those displaced and support community donations. It's going to be a long road ahead, and it could be a while before things feel normal again. But there's one thing that everyone in this city can hold on to, and that's what matters most.
Knowing that all of my loved ones are okay.
Okay, so where we are at, this is a restricted area basically. Officials have let us in for the day, but soon we have to leave. That is because another curfew will go into effect later on tonight. That starts at 8, and that will remain into effect until 6 in the morning. Officials say because it is simply too dangerous for people to be in these areas as crews are navigating and making sure they are safe. So, of course, we'll keep you updated once we continue to learn more about this story. But the bright spot is everyone is okay. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Richard, great job both last night and for all your hard work on a very long day today as well. Officials have issued a disaster declaration in both Parker and Palo Pinto counties. It's not an understatement to say, look, these folks have a very, very tough road ahead. But as Richard alluded to, at the end of the day, everyone here is alive to see it through. Reporting live from Mineral Wells, I'm Chris Lawrence. Izzy, I'll send it back to you.
Yes, and that is the resounding message. There were no fatalities. Our thanks to you, Chris Lawrence, live tonight in Mineral Wells.